92% of people are positioned for shorting right now, and they're about to lose all their money. They think this bounce is fake. They're chasing the same exact traps, hoping for the breakdown. But I believe we're about to break into new all-time high. And this growth that we are seeing currently is just getting started. Today, I'm showing you why shorting right now is a huge mistake, how I'm positioned for the upside myself, and which altcoins I am buying myself at this stage. I will go through highest market caps to the lowest market caps, with the ones at the end having the potential to provide the biggest amounts of gains. Do me a favor, press the like button. Let's get into today's video. First of all, we have to check what is happening in the marketplace currently, and all of these charts are in a very interesting situation at this stage. Very insane setup, if you would ask me. What is the same between the chart of Hype, Ethereum, Solana, and meme coins on Ethereum with $1 million in market cap? They all are staying right now at the exact same resistance levels. It's insane how well this market optimizes itself, and it's actually insane how effective it is at this stage. And it's actually quite insane that there are only very few peaks at this stage that are not yet at this level, that should be catching up quite soon from my point of view. So this is the chart of Hype. We can see that at this stage it exactly at the resistance, at the point that this asset was somewhere around end of January, start of February drop that we have seen on this market, right? On some assets that are a bit higher in the market cap, like Solana and Ethereum, they are also at this core resistance level, although it's currently somewhere around end of February and start of March levels, right? Ethereum, exactly the same thing. It's just so insane to see all these charts playing out in the same way, right? We can also check out a very low cap meme coin on Ethereum, something like Sneebo. What you can see here, end of January, start of February, also reached exact this resistance area, doing nothing at this stage. It's just insane to see these things on the chart. We can see FWalk. I actually told you to long FWalk closer to the bottoms, because I told you that this is the meme that did not reach this resistance at this stage. It worked like a charm. It actually reached this resistance since end of January and start of February, which most of the assets out there they actually reached. Momo and Solana, I was screaming about this one as well, and it was considered dead because the team left and things like that. Markets just do not care, guys. I'm telling you in each and every video, do not bet against human greed. This is the most screwed up bet you can actually be making in this market. What you can see here also, reach the levels somewhere around end of January, start of February, and add this resistance at this stage. All of them essentially have printed this whole situation on the chart. And the real question is, what is actually going to be happening moving further? What is the general opinion on the marketplace? I would assume that most people are actually trying to short at this stage. Crypto Capo that actually was correct with predicting the move, although he was saying that, yeah, we'll probably be touching 98k support, and then if we break through 102k, it's going to be very bullish and things like that. Then we broke through 102k, and he's still saying that everything is going to be way bearish and things are going just look at this chart. He's saying that Bitcoin is going to $60,000 from here, and me, Stan, on this channel, I have 500x less followers than Crypto Capo has. And I'm telling you, we're going to see new all-time high for Bitcoin in upcoming several weeks. Maybe in June. The most logical and most safe way would essentially be to consider currently sideways price action, right? That we would be doing absolutely nothing around these levels and just stay within these areas, with some sectors outperforming, some things breaking out higher, some things just catching up to the levels that most altcoins and most meme coins are at this stage, right? But I do believe we're actually going to see new all-time high quite soon. Crypto Capo is saying, lots of reasons to believe this was just a strong dead cat bounce as expected since March. We caught the move. Now, taking profits and hedging the rest seems like the best decision in my opinion. It does not matter if you cut any profits in this bounce, in this pump. If you would lose all of them getting liquidated trying to hedge, trying to short at these levels, right? We still need confirmations. For Bitcoin, it would be below 93,000. But if the idea plays out, this move should be fully retraced. Many ask what could trigger such a strong capitulation event. There are several possible scenarios, but the outcome would likely be the same. Remember, first the chart, then the news. I'll share more details this week. Very interesting to read something like this because in a way he was wrong. He was calling for us to get to 98k, right? And BTC actually went way higher, which definitely pushed the range of assets on this market way higher as well. And I can actually guarantee you that a range of players are actually looking to short at this stage. I do not remove the possibility of a smaller correction at this stage, right? I just do think that so many people trying to short, so many people miss this pump and they're trying to late leverage loan with high leverage to make up for some gains that they essentially missed in the first place. And with this funding rate, it's very, very interesting. Do I believe that on Binance the funding rate for Ethereum is 0.001? I'm not buying that. For some reason, through this pump, there was a point of time where all of these fundings, they just became neutral. They just became 0.001. It's almost like they're hiding the fundings in order to hide some necessary, very, very important data out there. This is how the liquidation heat map looks at this stage for the last 2 weeks. We can see that there is almost no shorts opened above our levels, mainly because of the reason of this pumpage of $105,000 actually stopped, closed, and got liquidated a bunch of people. And we also do see that there is a bunch of long leverage opened and the level of 92 and 93k. Pretty huge amount from my point of view. I still do think we shall be continuing the move from here. The best bet I think you shall be making at this stage is trying to put your money on altcoins or memes that didn't pump much yet. They did not reach these resistance areas. Although the actual question you should ask at this stage is also, is there actually enough steam? Is there enough power around these narratives? Why people are not buying them? Why they're not running and things like that? These are all very, very valid questions to ask. And it's interesting that a lot of these coins, they are connected to the gaming narrative out there, right? So we can check out IMX, and it kind of reached these levels of resistance, which are similar to Ethereum, but it's not that big in the market cap. Like, is there a reason for it to be staying at these levels and not expanding to the levels where Solana is, where Hyperliquid actually is, right? It's a very, very interesting question out there. If it would be expanding here, which I think we shall be seeing, so if we would be seeing this next level of pumpage, the reason I'm talking about these type of coins is because these type of coins should be providing the biggest amounts of returns, because most of the other stuff out there, it already has reached these levels, right? It already kind of exhausted the potential out there. 56% move up in order to reach this core resistance area, which most of the coins are on at this stage. The situation with AVAX is also quite similar. So this resistance area is at 30 bucks. The risk reward here is not that great. It's essentially just a 20% move up to reach these levels, but it's also something interesting. AVAX ecosystem is kind of neglected at this stage. Obviously, it would be very cruel to just dump the whole thing and print the new lows and go into the bear market for the whole summer. I'm not seeing this at this stage. I do believe that not enough people kind of made money on this pump yet, and I do believe that they can definitely push it higher. You have to understand the situation at this stage. Smart guys, what they're thinking about like themselves at this stage. They were able to catch the pump on some coins. They were able to have some profits. What they're doing currently, they are essentially taking profits and just trying to see what would be happening. And others that think of themselves as the smartest ones, they're actually trying to short from these levels. I do think they have to push slightly higher. They really have to push to new Bitcoin all-time highs. They have to push to all-time highs on a bunch of altcoins out there to make sure that these people, they would FOMO into the whole situation. And then the situation I was actually telling you since the end of March. I told you second part of April is going to be bullish and we will be pumping till the middle of June, and then we will have a crazy correction. This is something that might be happening, right? This is astrology in the first place. Despite the fact they actually have information from astrologers that we should be pumping at least for 86 days onward from here, but it's very, very hard to bet on these things from here. So AVAX, right? You can look at something like Joe, which is a DEX on AVAX, right? And the same type of resistance level is somewhere around here, right? So if you don't like your upside on AVAX, you can look into Joe, and the upside here is slightly better, 34% out there. And something I just love to talk on, right? I just cannot, like, this thing is lagging from my point of view, and it's lagging pretty nicely. Obviously, it's at the core resistance area, and you might argue that in comparison to Ethereum and the assets like that, it's already at this core resistance, but I do believe this is just the first candidate to pump up in the next leg up. Because it's been neglected at this stage. I'm talking about Heroes of Mavia, right? And the move up, why I also like this thing is because upside on this move up is still 2x. There are very, very few coins on this market that actually left with similar type of upside to reach these core resistance areas as we see present on the previous charts of different coins out there, right? And yeah, it's definitely a very, very strong resistance. We tapped these levels several times, but I do have a feeling if this thing will start and will actually touch this level, which I think should be happening quite soon, right? I'm not honestly seeing us touching this trend line 1, 2, 3, 4 for the 6th time out here. I do think we shall be seeing like a fake out touch, right? And just continuing from there to this resistance at least, which shall be a 2x trade on leverage. This thing is available on leverage, I think even on Binance, which is nice because it's backed by Binance Labs, right? And right after, resistance is nice, but it's also not very, very huge out there. Right after, it might be just expanding higher as well. So I do like the upside on this thing, despite the fact it's been kind of dead for the majority of the move out there. In terms of most of the alts and memes on the market at this stage. So we're in a very interesting situation where most assets, they actually reach these core levels, core resistance areas, and people, they would be calling currently for the breakdown, for rejection, things like that. Nah, man, we should be pumping at least till the middle of June. Use this information the way you want. I think we're still at the start of the pump. If you were able to catch some positions since the bottom, I would strongly suggest to just hold them, because these type of entries, they should be generational and they should be pretty nice for the whole run out there. Because even if we're getting into a longer type of correction in summer, also I'm not buying that at this stage, I doubt that we will be getting these entries anytime soon. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you received any value, if you made any money on all the multiple calls I made in the last several days, reader is up 50% or something, also make sure to press the like button. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.